How's yeah? This is going to be a bit of a controversial take, but I don't really care if we release the Epstein files. I'll get to why in a little bit, but there is something that kind of started all this. And it's the fact that I realized Donald Trump and I actually have something in common. Now, there's lots of things we don't have in common. Obviously, I'm not the president of the United States. I'm not wealthy. In fact, I'm broke as fuck. I am not into real estate. In fact, by trade, I'm an artist and a mechanic. I'm also not a 34-time convicted felon. I wasn't found guilty of defamation multiple times. I've also not had any businesses shut down for fraud. So yeah, there's a lot of differences between us. But the one thing we do have in common is that we were both friends with a pedophile. Now, this may not necessarily be the most fair comparison, but hear me out. So, obviously, Donald Trump was friends with Jeffrey Epstein. We've seen the videos, we've seen the pictures, more and more are coming out every day. I'm not going to beat the bush over that. I'm just going to focus on my own personal experience. So there was a man I met many years ago, and we became friends. We were both gamers, tabletop gamers in particular. Went to conventions, and we hung out quite a bit, talked a bit online. I really liked this guy. And then when my daughter was in middle school, she came forward to tell me that he had sexually assaulted her. To say that rocked my world would be the height of understatement. Basically, I didn't know what to do or what to think. But there was one thing I knew I had to do. I had to believe my daughter. I had to trust her. And so my daughter, with my wife and I, we went to the police. They launched an investigation. And my daughter, in an absolute hero's move, got him to confess on a recorded line. And now he's serving a 60-year sentence behind bars, and I'm doing everything I can to forget I ever knew him. So that's where the comparison isn't really fair, because it's not really clear how Donald Trump found out that Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile. Now, for the sake of argument, because everybody is innocent until proven guilty, we have to assume right now that Donald Trump is innocent. And so, in that case, he most likely found out the first time Jeffrey Epstein went to trial. And so, okay, fine, he's innocent. That's how he found out. But is that okay? Because what did he do after that? Did he go to the authorities? Did he go to his daughter? Did he go to his female staff? No. He didn't do any of that. And so that's my point that I want to get to, is that whether Trump is innocent or not, whether his name is in the files or not, whether Bill Clinton's name is in the files or not, whether Bill Clinton's innocent or not, there are names in those files of people who are guilty of sexually assaulting and raping underage girls. And I can hear you all now. You're furiously typing your comments in this section, and that's why we need to release the files. I have to disagree. That is not why we need to release the files. The Department of Justice needs to get off its sorry ass and start convening grand juries, start pressing charges, and start indicting people, and start putting motherfuckers in jail. Okay? We don't need to release the files to put people in jail. The court of public opinion does not have to be involved at all. What we need to do is get these men out of society. Okay? Trust me, I know from personal experience as the father of a survivor of sexual assault, the damage these men can do. And it is far more important than putting names anywhere we could make memes out of them or whatever. Whatever the internet wants to do, and I don't know, I don't give a fuck, to be perfectly honest. It is more important these motherfuckers go behind bars. It is more important that motherfuckers go to jail. Because they didn't stop with the 1,000 victims that we already know of so far. They're out there doing more damage, or doing more harm to more women. And they're doing it because they think they got off scot-free. They think the Department of Justice isn't going to do shit to them. And unfortunately, right now, they're right. And that's what pisses me off. It's not that the files won't be publicly released for the press and public consumption of all the keyboard warriors and all the journalists and all the king's men and blah, 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 blah. It's that motherfuckers are not going to jail. So, Pam Bondi, I don't know if you'll ever see this. Probably won't, but fuck it. On the off chance that you do happen to see this, grow a pair of ovaries and start putting motherfuckers in jail. Alright? I don't care if you release the files or not. I really don't. As long as people go to jail. Okay? That's what's important. That's what needs to happen. So until you start putting motherfuckers in jail, whether you release the files or not, I'm personally not going to be satisfied. Because I've seen the damage that can be done. I've heard the tears. I've heard the frustration. I've heard the crying. I've heard the anger. And more importantly than that, I heard the relief when my daughter finally got closure, when we put him away. And there's a lot of women out there who don't have that right now, and they need it. They deserve it. And someone needs to give it to them. And if you're not going to do it, get your sorry ass out of that chair so that somebody can get in there who will.